So it's all about adapting to those threatening environments when life puts your feet to the fire. Hey, welcome back to the Shades in podcast. I'm Chris, and these are my good friends. Introduce yourselves, guys.
My name is Saro Hartunian.
My name is Adam Melkonian.
Oh,
Oh, sorry, did I cut you off there?
no, it's okay. It's okay.
I'm in a very bad habit of cutting people off.
It's Saro Hartunian. It's just like one whole word. Saro Hartunian Adam Melkonian.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
It has a very nice and natural flow to
Human centipede, yes.
it. Exactly.
So today we're doing a show on Shawshank Redemption, and before we actually wait, this is episode number 26.
Ah, suck it, Joe Rogan. Fuck.
What?
Aaron Beligas Luzai.
So we're gonna start off with this question that doesn't really have to do too much with today's show, but it's still, I think, an important aspect of the movie, which was do you think that Andy was guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of his crime? If you don't know what that means, basically it's in the US they have a system where it's beyond reasonable doubt, and essentially in order for you to be guilty of a crime, it's like there should be absolutely no doubt that you did it. So do you think that he was guilty of that?
It's like
Like,
OJ.
was he guilty beyond reasonable doubt?
It's like O.J. Simpson. Like I mean, it's not like him to do that, but like he did do it. Like they showed it in the movie. Like,
Wait,
he
sorry.
shot-
Well, no,
No, Andy didn't do it.
No, Andy didn't do it.
Maybe he did.
No,
Maybe he's
no,
O.J.
bro, the guy
Simpson.
confessed.
There's a guy who
I know.
told Tommy,
But I'm just trying to see him as O.J. Simpson here.
listen, bro, they don't have OJ in prison.
They don't. That's true.
They only have...
That's true.
That's true. So, but do you think that he was guilty beyond reasonable doubt?
No. Honestly, no.
Like if you were to apply a bunch of the logic.
I think it would make sense that he did. I mean, given that...
His wife
in the heat of
yeah.
the moment, he
Yeah.
was very angry. He was passionately, he loves
He
his
was
wife.
drunk as well, no?
He was. He
Yeah,
said he
that's
visited a
true.
few bars.
Yeah, he went bar hopping.
He hopped bars.
He hopped them. But I think it would make sense that he did, but no. He's a very calculated man. I don't think he would have. Even though he was drunk, I think he thought about it long term and decided to go against doing that. But yeah.
But we're not talking about like him as a character, like his personality. This is really just more
Did he
from
do it
the
or not?
court's
From the court's perspective.
From the court's
did he-
perspective, like them trying to figure out whether or not this man did it. They don't know him personally, right? So they're taking all the evidence collected from that night and trying to put together a picture, right? So I think that's how like the movie started. They basically painted the picture that there's no going around it. And like even the whole movie where we're kind of still trying to figure out whether or not he actually did it. It was only until like near the end where the guy confessed and like he heard from him.
Yeah.
Because it's like he says it in a way as well during the movie. He's like, "Oh, everybody's innocent here," But it's like I thought like we all think that he's playing the part, and even the fact that he's drunk makes you think that maybe he forgot that he did it, because he also questions it as well. He just comes to acceptance with it once he's in prison.
That's true.
But then
Yeah.
eventually he finds out that it turns out that he didn't actually.
Yeah,
Like we know for a fact that he didn't do it.
it's like you know when like something happens, like this isn't very common, but like when something happens, you were there, you witnessed it, like whatever it may be, but like and you know what happened for a fact, but then everybody else contradicts like what you saw to the point where you start questioning yourself.
Of course, you tell yourself a lie. Sooner or later, you're gonna believe it as its truth.
Yeah. So in that instance, I guess like the truth. There's the truth. In my opinion, there's like the ultimate truth. But then there's the way we see it, and that's how the truth is translated into our minds. And that's kind of what happened with the courts there, is that I think it was pretty much beyond reasonable doubt. They didn't have the firearm, which would have been a big thing to have, right? Because you didn't know what kind of firearm they used. Obviously, he had motive. He had a reason to do it. He was there. They found his fingerprints. They found his track prints.
And he was intoxicated.
And he was intoxicated.
Yeah.
And
There
they
was a
didn't
broken
find
ball.
the gun that he
Yeah,
supposedly threw in the river.
Yeah,
As well.
and it's there's a lot of things that just stacked up on top of him, and then obviously like any person who didn't know Andy personally or whatever, didn't know the situation and looked at it from a third party perspective, would have automatically thought like, okay, maybe Andy did it.
OJ, he did it.
So my next question is, in prison, obviously Andy goes to prison and he struggles for a while, but what did he have to do in order to really like survive in prison?
I'm sorry, ladies first.
It
was your birthday. Hi.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, it was his birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Auden.
Yeah, baby!
Yeah.
This isn't gonna end. Okay. I think, and this is sort of, I don't want to start talking about like the theme of the movie because. So Sato, what do you think? I don't want to get into the theme of the movie. I'm afraid like what I'm gonna start saying is like sort of a point I want to make out later on, but it's more the importance of having a brilliant mind and to work on improving your intelligence and like having a bigger base of like for like knowledge, because that's really what's gonna get you far and how people are gonna like you and trust you for certain things. So that's what he used to his advantage, right? So his experience, his knowledge, and something that like he had over everybody else that favored him. Yeah, and he was also very sexy, so that he was taken
like
advantage of in the.
He also had the power of friendship.
The power of friendship.
You know?
You want to swallow what I give you?
Oh my gosh, you put that in there. Oh no.
That's good. It's okay. We're good.
Oh no.
He befriends Red. He befriends Brooks.
Yeah.
Oh, what a sweet.
But I
fellow.
think more importantly, it's the befriending the actual guards, right?
Yeah.
That matters. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that helps you certainly.
Because
But-
it makes you kind of not invincible, but like it puts you a step above everyone else.
Exactly.
So I think, prison is a place. I wrote this. The prison is a place where people must adapt, or they will die.
Mhm.
You know. So if Andy had to learn how to adapt to that situation, and what he did at first was kind of close himself off, but he realized that like it's not the best thing to do. You need to have allies and stuff. So
Unless
then,
if you're like a pretty strong dude, but Andy's not really strong. He's
no,
all
he's
brain.
like some banker, right?
all brain.
Big brain.
Big brain.
So Andy had to adapt or die. So he adapted by like basically like becoming friends with people, and then getting stuff from Red that to put into his room or his cell. And I find that the movie in general talks a lot about adaptation and learning to thrive in like threatening environments.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to learn how to like adapt to that situation. He had to become a better version of him. He had to use all of his talents and all of his skills to make himself the most valuable person in that prison. So we went from someone like for example, the fat ass, which literally if you watch the credits of the movie, his credit is fat ass.
No.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. Like
Oh
if you
my
watch the
God.
credits,
No
of the,
way.
Oh
the
my
credits
God.
for the fat ass is literally fat ass.
Oh my god.
That's so bad. That's so bad.
Oh shit.
Oh my gosh.
Wait,
They didn't even bother giving him a name.
What does Red say? Frankly, I don't give a shit.
Fuck you, bitch.
So
But
unlike the fat ass didn't endure. He didn't adapt essentially very well to the situation. But Andy, he learned to quickly move his calculatingly move his way throughout.
So sorry,
can see it from the
just a reminder. The fat ass, that was the guy in the start that got beat up by the guard.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
who died?
Well, that was another thing that I wanted to point out in the beginning. Like when they showcase like the new batch of people that come in, the prisoners.
King Batch.
Yeah. What?
The fresh meat.
Oh, at one point they're in their cells, and Red was they start betting on who'll start.
Well,
Like,
from the
crying.
start.
Yeah,
start,
that's
right?
it.
Yeah.
So
Same old shit.
and I don't think Andy made a noise, did he?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So that went to show like already that he was a step above the new batch of inmates. So.
Yeah.
I think What?
It's all this, man.
It's all in your head.
No, like it's just
This entire podcast is all in your
it's
head.
all in your head. It's not. I mean, no, but but that's what puts you a step above. It doesn't matter how strong you are physically or like how much confidence you have or like how much trust you have in people. If you don't have the smarts, man, like you can't make it anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. So, but it's not just the smarts; it's the skill to do something, right? And he had skill, and he had skill. He had his banking knowledge, and he used it to curry favors with the guards, and he used it to curry favors with the warden, and he had special privileges and stuff like that because he was doing their taxes and shit.
Yeah.
And because of that, he was able to better scale up through the ranks of the prison.
Hierarchy.
Yeah, exactly. Like through the ranks of the prison and stuff.
And even like because I remember like he even gets thrown into ice
The whole.
the hole, and
Yo, that's rough.
like that fucks him up, but he still perseveres.
Yeah, so it's all about he adapts constantly, right? I also want to just mention this very quickly. Boggs is what horniness does to a motherfucker.
Bugs? Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
You know the guy.
Yeah.
Goes,
You wanna swallow what I give you to swallow.
That scene, I remember watching that the first time, and my parents, they were like trying to shield my eyes, and I'll never forget because like I forget what Andy says, but he gives the statistic. And
No, he said about like something with head trauma and how like
exactly
if you try to force someone to
you
If
have to
you-
use
if-
a crowbar. To
Yeah,
no,
like
if you do it,
his-
the natural instinct is to bite down hard,
yeah.
and the bite force is so strong, they would need a crowbar. To
Yeah,
take it off.
that's
But when Boggs saw Andy for the first time, he was like,
he was like,
Do you guys think that was bullshit, by the way, what he was saying? I think he was like really just saying that to get out of the situation, right?
"What?
About the
What,
opening
Andy?
up the mouth with the crowbar.
Well, no,
Because
I
No,
think he
no,
was
it's
right.
probably true.
It's true.
you don't think he made it up?
No, I imagine like
Maybe
you
he
getting
did.
bonked on the
Like
head.
it sounds accurate, but again, he's a smart guy, right? So it's like clearly he reads, and but at
You
the same time
read-
he's just trying to figure out a way
Wait,
out of
let's
the
test it
situation.
You
out.
ignorant fuck."
Let's test
Let's
it
test it out.
Smack it.
No, I'm not gonna do that, bro.
As far, but yeah, so I think Boggs's whole thing was pretty fucked up.
Buzz.
And they said like, oh, like, will it matter if I tell them that I'm not homosexual? And it's like, well, never said that they were. You would have to be human.
Wait, who
first.
said that?
Okay, so like he's like the sisters, like Morgan Freeman's like the sisters have taken a liking to you, and then it's like, I bet it won't bother them that I'm not a homosexual. It's like, well, neither are they. You would have to be human first,
Oh wow.
because they're monstrous.
Oh my god.
Because they say shit like,
You wanna swallow what I give you to swallow.
Oh my god.
That's such an intense scene. Bro.
Wow.
do you think they took Andy to Pound Town?
I'd like to think not.
I think so.
Uh,
You mean they went after him for 2 years and they never got him?
They probably.
Let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that. I think the bruises are already bad enough.
What?
I think the bruises are already bad enough.
Which bruises?
The neck bruises, the upper palate, the cleft. When he goes to the dentist,
my
the prison
God.
dentist, he's gonna be like, "Huh, you've been sucking dick a lot." Like, because dentists can tell. They can tell when you've been sucking.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because your upper palate it becomes bruised. I don't know this by first-hand experience. Okay, I'm just saying.
Sure, Sato.
Yeah. You would know. I did it to you. I'm kidding.
Thank you.
So, my next question is actually kind of based upon, like, you know, when you're in a situation and you overly adapt, to that situation.
Sure.
Like
Like,
to
you be-
this to the state that becomes like instinct. Is that
Yeah.
what you mean?
Well, like where you're in a fucked up situation and you adapt and you adapt so well to that situation that you now don't know what it's like to be outside of that. So then when you're out of it, you're no longer functioning as a like as normal should be, right?
Yeah.
Like those people who go to war for years and they come back home, they're fucked up.
Thomas Shelby,
or let's say any veteran of World War One or World War Two,
yeah.
they go through these wars and then they
Cat.
oh yeah. So I'm going to finish this point, but before I do, I'd like to ask you guys to leave a like, subscribe to the channel.
Ballsy. Subscribe to the Shade Cinema Podcast, motherfuckers. Do it now.
Oh my god.
So
He said it himself, huh?
yeah, and follow me on IG. Follow the Instagram account
Ballsy.
and
TikTok as well, right?
TikTok as well.
Ballsy.
We're gonna continue on. So the point I was making before is that when you overly adapt to a situation, and there's a scene in the movie where Red is talking to everyone about Brooks, and when Brooks tried to hold that knife to Haywood's throat, and Brooks says a line where he goes, "First you hate them," like when he talks about the walls of the prison. First you hate them, then you get used to them. Enough
Red
time
said
passes.
that.
Yes, enough time passes, you get so you depend on them. So it's them being put into that horrible environment, being caged off from the rest of the world, and then they get used to, and they hate it at first, then they get used to it, but then they eventually learn to depend on that. So what did Red exactly mean?
So
Like if we were to go into specifics.
what
like-
did he mean?
Yeah.
I was gonna take an example from a test that was made. I forget by which university, but in England. But they basically took a bunch of fleas and they put it in a jar and they closed the lid off, and then after a while they opened the lid and they just jumped at their max jumping point was like the max of the lid, where the lid would have been. So it's like you put these people in an enclosed environment, in an enclosed society, you could call it, because prison is a like it has its own
society.
Yeah, it has its own way of working. It's its own system, its own hierarchical structure, and so you put these people in it and they're not used to it, so they first hate it, then they grow to kind of like, no, I wouldn't say embrace it, but they
It
grow
becomes
to,
a reality.
yeah, exactly. It becomes their reality, and you can see it, especially towards the end, how it affects certain inmates that get out. Like Brooks, couldn't handle it. Then you have Red, who
Who couldn't handle it either, but
yeah, but he had a mission of sorts. Like he had to see about a girl. What was it when he's in the supermarket, when he's working for the supermarket and he asks to go for a piss break, like his boss tells him, you don't have to like constantly ask me for a piss break, like you can just go. So he's so used to that, and he mentions it like 40,
like he can't piss without permission.
exactly, like not a single drop. What has he said?
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. Like not a single. He can't squeeze out like a single drop if he doesn't have the permission to do so.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So what do you think, Auden?
What was the question again about like the enclosed? Yeah. I was gonna say the same thing as Sato. I relate to it a lot to because
You relate to it? Have you been
What?
to prison?
no.
Bro.
Sorry, not me personally. I meant like I'm. You can relate that situation to like other scenarios in our daily lives as well, with people that we know, like people that are raised in certain situations, whether it's like the wealthy or even the poor as well. So it's like if you're used to like one truth, one way of living, it's kind of hard to like adapt or change out of it, you know. That's why like a lot of wealthy people that are just like very spoiled or like get things their way, it's like when you take that away from them, they start getting very angry and aggressive, because it's like that's what they're used to, that's what they want.
even people
And
that have
just
been
yeah.
sorry, no,
No, please.
Well, even people that have just been staying in one location their entire life, like they have no concept of, not that they don't have a concept, but they have no clue what goes on in the life of, like, let's say, a sweatshop worker in Southeast Asia, or like a person that lives in Burj Hamud, Lebanon. You know, like
It's that idea of having a safety net, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like if you put someone in a safety net, and that's like a problem with a lot of parents. I feel like they want to care for their child so much to the point that they don't put them in the risk necessary to adapt and grow, so that when they're used to that and they grow up, it's hard for them to get into the real world, you know?
I just thought about this. Would you say it's like a metaphor? The prison is like a metaphor for complacency. And they go out to the world, and then they struggle for a while, and they don't know how to make it
Yeah.
because they're so used to being complacent. It's like them being complacent
I see it
for
that way. I see it
them
that
being
way.
complacent for a very long time,
Yeah.
and then they fail to adapt to their new situation. So then it's either they take an easy way out with Brooks, or they have a solution with Red, where Red's the only reason why Red didn't take his life the same way as, or he tried to, or the same reason why Red didn't go back to prison is the reason why I don't know what the fuck.
Is because of Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I
Yeah, that's
No,
it.
but-
I actually, anyways, we can get to that after.
But complacency, sure, I do see that, but it's like
I just had a fucking
They-
brain fart. Sorry.
it's okay, it's alright.
But let me say that again. So the complacency that Red had in his situation of where he came out of prison, he was in prison for 40 years, and he didn't know how to live his life besides within those walls, because the last time he had been free was when he was probably in his mid to late teens, maybe early 20s.
Mhm.
And then he comes out, and then his only solution is basically to either see Andy or commit a crime, go back to prison, or to commit suicide.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah. Makes sense.
No,
but
like-
at the same time, yeah, complacency, but they put themselves in that situation.
Of course.
Or
But
like, let's say they were
complacency-
wrongly convicted. Let's say in this case that they were wrongly convicted. I can't really, like, it's forced complacency.
But it's also, I think it's also because the reason why Andy did so well after he left prison was because he had a mission to do so, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brooks, he came out of prison and he didn't have anywhere to go. He didn't have anything to do, right? He just had to work, and he was very old at that point in time, so he couldn't really work properly.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But
And he
remind
didn't
yourself
have
too,
anyone
though,
too.
most of these people were like uneducated, young when they got in, so it's like they don't have the same background as Andy either.
They
That
did
too.
have a library though, no? I mean, you can technically educate yourself.
yeah, like, well, Andy was trying to give a bunch of people their diplomas and
Yeah.
stuff, but the problem was that a lot of them, because they stayed in prison for a very, very, very long time, like Brooks, for example,
Yeah.
they didn't know anything besides that.
Yeah.
So when they get back out, they're kind of fucked because they don't know what to do, where to go, who to see. They don't have family who probably wants to see them, you know, and they get fucked like that. Andy, he didn't have any problems with disconnecting himself and becoming Randall Stevens.
Dude, Brooks didn't even know that like cars were common.
Yeah.
Like, imagine how lost he must have been,
Yeah.
bro. Dude,
But
Red would have been in the same situation as him, and I'm pretty certain that like Andy gave him that mission because he knew he didn't want him to go down that same path.
Probably not, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like
Well-
he gave him something to like look forward to once he leaves. Yeah.
Well,
Sorry.
unfortunately, just Brooks also didn't have anyone to have an aid.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't have like that kind of tether that Andy had for Red, you know. So. like,
Well, Andy was also not outside to help Brooks in that situation, right?
Yeah.
And Brooks, you know, it's all about being like institutionalized. Do you think that institutionalization is sort of something that happens to us even as free people?
Yeah.
And can you give examples?
In some way, shape, or form, yeah, of course. Institutionalization.
Besides the one that Auden said, where there's these kids who grow up in either being poor or rich.
Yeah.
Who
I think we can all like agree that we were kind of in that situation ourselves growing up. I mean, we all grew up in an Armenian community. Sado, not as much because you went to public, right?
Well, no, I actually went to very preppy private schools all over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like when I was living in Dubai, it was in a very preppy elementary school, high school. In Spain, it was a private school. Here, in some way, it doesn't matter if it doesn't matter what situation you're in. Like, let's say school is an institution, so you will be institutionalized. That's whether you like it or not. You're going to school. You are being educated. You will be institutionalized. You go to church. It is an establishment. It's an institution. You will be institutionalized.
So you're saying if you stay in an environment for long enough, it's the institutionalization will happen to you?
Yeah. It's why, like, every 8 years, because I moved around so much, every 8 years I start to get jitters. I'm like okay, like let's do something. Let's move. Let's move to a different country. Like when I reached my 7 to 8 year mark of being here, it is now my 9th year. I was like, I told my parents, I was like, so where are we going? And they're like, what do you mean?
Are you serious?
Yeah, actually, because like and in that sense, I'm used to that. So technically, I'm in, like heart. Like I'm conditioned to act that way, because that's my habit. Everybody is a creature of habit. My habit is change.
Yeah, so
That's
it's interesting because I think institutionalized is like a prison term.
Yes.
So a better word would be conditioned.
Sure, but like there are other institutions out there, like school and
school, whatever.
church,
Like
whatever.
I think again, in your case, it wasn't as extreme as mine because, for example, like we went to the same Armenian school. In your case, it was your elementary years. For me, I went to that school for 14 years.
Yeah,
14 years of my life. That's like a big majority. Thankfully, I was involved with like other aspects like sports and extracurriculars outside of school, so I did have that range as well. But a lot of the people within my school, because imagine in our year as well, we were 45 students, so we knew each other our whole lives, and they didn't know anybody else outside of that.
This is from kindergarten all the way to
before even kindergarten, man. In like preschool, like
I can't do that.
imagine since I was 3 years old until 17, I was with the same people. With a couple of exceptions of people leaving and others coming in, but
when I moved back to Dubai, I'm sorry, we're like going a bit off topic, but like when I moved back to Dubai, I was reintroduced back to like my same friends, but I was put a grade lower. So what happened was like I was introduced to a new batch of friends, like every couple of years, like every interval. So like I knew different people, and that's why like nowadays I have a lot of connections. I just know a shit ton of people.
And that's what I want to get at, because I feel like, again, this is no diss to anyone, but I just feel like, especially like the people in my school that were with me, the people who didn't have that reach outside of school, like for those 14 years that I had, I'm not saying that like I was out and about, like I just played sports and had a few extracurricular activities.
But you had other reaches.
But I had other, like with like people that weren't Armenian, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like so many people, and including me now as well. Like I'm still involved with like scouts, like with Chris. But it's like they haven't gone away from that, you know. It's like the only people that they know and that they can actually mesh with and hang out with are the Armenians that they've known since they were young, you know.
Which I find is a shame. It's nice. It's a nice concept.
For sure, but it's
a shame.
Yeah.
You stay within that bubble, and you see a lot of it's the same thing with people who, you know, come to the country and like as immigrants or whatever, and the only people they hang out with are like their family.
Yeah.
Their family, or like this, I don't know.
It's a sense of comfort.
Mm-hmm. So like, cause it's a risk, you know, going out and meeting new people, and you know, I'm not saying it's like a bad thing necessarily. It's not at all. But I'm saying it's in their eyes it's a risk, because what if they reject me? Then like the self-confidence in
But I don't think it's a risk thing. I think, like Sato said, it's more of a habit.
Well,
right?
it's not just habit.
It's the habit that's ingrained in you, because it's. I don't think they.
No, I think there is.
And they don't even consider it as risk. I think it's more just like, they don't feel like it because they're comfortable already with the group of friends that they have.
It's like, well,
so
the opposite of comfort is, you know, is risk taking and pain, right?
Yeah.
So that it requires a level of like risk taking in order for you to go out, because
you could get shanked.
If you can, well, not just that, but if you go out and you try to approach people, but then they reject you, then that's a big blow to your pride and as a person.
But sorry, can I just want to say, because what I'm trying to, I'm not saying that it's not a risk. I'm saying that in their minds, it's not that they don't reach out because of the risk factor. I'm just saying that it's because it hasn't been a habit for them.
Okay.
There's definitely a risk to it, but it's like if you're programmed to be with the same people constantly and that's what you're used to, you're not gonna make an effort to go out. It's not because it's risky or anything. It's just not a habit of yours.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah.
Aaron Belegas Luzai.
So we're gonna continue on. So now we're gonna talk a little bit about our favorite warden, the man,
Yes.
the myth, the legend, Steve Carell.
Steve Carell.
So no, it's what was his name? Sam Norton. So Sam Norton is the warden from in the movie.
Sam Norton is the name of the actor or the
name
character?
of the character.
Okay.
So he's like a very like Bible thumping
Yeah.
person. That's why the Bible's here. This is not disrespect to the
God-fearing.
Bible, but like he uses the Bible in interesting ways to drive a point home about the prison. Like for example, when I don't know if you know about your Bible verses or whatever. I'm not savvy on like the John 3:13 or whatever the fuck.
Hell no.
So
Psalms.
Solomon's. Psalms, yeah.
Yeah, Psalms.
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 So I was thinking, there was a scene in the movie where they go and they check his jail cell,
Mm-hmm.
and he was reading like what was his name? Andy was reading the Bible, and Andy, like he said, they asked him, "Oh, what's your favorite verse?" And Andy's like the one that was like, the judge is coming, like something like about like, "Oh, the judge is coming for you, so be righteous," or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, "Oh, I like that verse." He's like, well, "My personal favorite one is like, I'm the light of the Lord, and I will."
Speaking of which, I don't know if you guys are actually able to hear that, but there's a lightning storm.
There's a
happening
thunderstorm
outside.
happening, which is
I just
ironic
thought
because the movie.
Right?
Sorry, it's Providence. This video better
I'm
get a
going to
million
escape
views.
this basement.
This video will
I've
get a
been
million
stuck
views.
here, by the way,
Subscribe
for
to
the
the
last
Shade
20
Cinema
years.
podcast.
Insert clickbait thumbnail.
So he says like, "I'm the light of the world. Follow me, and I will not lead you to darkness. I will lead you to the light," or something like that.
The warden said this?
The
or-
warden said this. That was
Okay.
his favorite passage in the book, which is interesting because his favorite passage in the book is something that's an ego thing for him, right? Because his whole thing is that he's
Tells a lot about his character.
yeah, he talks a lot about him being in prison, being righteous and stuff. Oh, if you follow it's kind of like if you follow my rules, then I'll guide you to the light and away from the darkness, kind of thing.
It's kind of like he's being the judge in Andy's
Yeah.
in Andy's quote. He's trying to appropriate that role.
He's taking the
Well-
role of God in this prison.
Exactly, like kind of like Christoph from Truman Show, which
Yeah. Fucking love that movie. I'm upset I wasn't here, man. Fudge.
Should have been here, man.
I swear. I had
come on, man.
I had problems.
Oh, what a movie, honestly.
Gastro problems.
Oh.
No. That's actually the sound that I make.
Every time you're in the bathroom.
Well, anyways. So I think that was one of the things, like his whole like the references he made to the Bible in terms of doing a lot, like the stuff he said and the stuff he took from the Bible were stuff mainly about authority more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because he just tried to display that authority, and that's how he adapted to his role as the warden of the prison. And you notice the sign that was on his safe, right?
Yeah.
Well, it was like his judgment cometh and right soon,
Yeah.
and something like that. And
It's very ironic.
ironic because the judgment did came.
Yeah.
did
Did
came.
come.
Did Keem.
Came. I'm
I'm gonna come.
his judgment came finally. The judgment came finally, like, and he took his own life at
I
the
still
end.
don't know what the context is for that.
I'm gonna come. So he he has very hypocritical views of things. Like he says he's righteous and stuff, but then he he starts scams and he starts like corruption and like money laundering and stuff.
Wait, you tell me killing the dude wasn't right?
Oh no, like that dude can die, but like
That scene, yo, took me by surprise the first time I saw the movie. I'm like, whoa, what did I just see?
But did you notice
What
where
did
they
I
you notice
witness?
where they did it though?
Wait, what?
Outside.
Outside
in
the
the
prison.
Yeah,
courtyard.
so
then they
because that's why they came up with the excuse that he tried to escape.
yeah.
Bro, and he shot him, what, 4 or 5 times?
Yeah,
He didn't even
the
need to shoot him
from
that
the-
many
from the
times.
watchtower. Yeah,
And it's funny, too, because remember why Andy was put in prison for?
Murder.
Murder, but do you remember how they found the victim shot? They were shot with 8 rounds, and the gun that they were talking about, the revolver, I think,
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
has 6 bullets. So they made the point that this wasn't an act of whatever, like an act of passion. It was an act of revenge,
Yeah.
you know. And like they're like that, even more of a reason that this guy deserves 2
They
life sentences. Imagine now the warden.
That's true.
The warden and the guard shot him 4 or 5 times. Didn't even need to. 1 shot would have sufficed.
No, maybe not 1 shot,
Or
maybe
2.
like 2, 3,
But bro,
4,
5, man.
4, 5.
With a big gun like that too. Sorry, I don't know my guns, guys.
It's an
I might be-
M14.
He's a car guy. And,
I'm not even a car guy.
soccer ball guy.
What's also I love that shot too, where the guard shoots him, and then he backs up, and then you see it's Hadley's face.
Yeah.
That's a great shot. We'll talk about how garbage the movie is later.
Doesn't it have the like worst rating on IMDb?
It does actually. So why did Norton want to keep Andy in jail?
I think
Besides,
it's obvious.
his taxes.
Yeah,
besides-
literally.
well, besides just that, the taxes.
He was afraid of the word getting out.
Not just. I don't think it's just the word getting out, but he doesn't. I don't think he wants to see. What was it? I wrote it down. I think somewhere here. Where is it?
He's a very controlling figure. You know, he's very controlling. He likes it when things go his way, as we have just mentioned. Like he's the warden. It goes by his rules. Yeah, he says jump, Andy says how high, and then he tunnels his way out, and then so he doesn't say how high. So yeah, that's basically it.
Perfect.
I think it's a bit deeper. I mean, like obviously it's like it is
Literary professor deeper.
it's I think it has also to do with
Do you think it's sort of like how Christoph?
he doesn't want to be seen as being proven wrong, right? Like he doesn't want to have the blemish of it being like he convicted the wrong man.
But he didn't. But he wasn't involved with that choice.
Yeah, I know, but like now he has to like maintain it. But it's not just that. He doesn't want it to be like also the word getting out and whatever. But it seems much deeper than that, because when they never mentioned anything about the money or anything like that. He's like, "Oh, don't talk to me about money."
Do you think it has to do with like
Probably
him
the s-
forming an actual genuine relationship with like a prisoner? Because like it's like the first Andy was like the first person that the warden actually like was in close contact with,
Who was
and
a
he thought
prisoner?
that
Who was a prisoner? Yeah.
who's a prisoner, yeah, and like for him maybe he thought that was like a very interesting.
I don't think so, because he just threw him in the hole or something.
Well, that's it. But there's also, we were just talking about like being conditioned, right? Like you have someone in your life, no matter like.
No, but that's only the case because he's a control freak, though. But like, why do you think people stick through? I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
No, it's okay.
But why do you think people stick through relationships that are extremely toxic, where someone's like super controlling or
well,
whatever?
there's a number of reasons. They
Yeah.
think that they could change. Oh, I can fix them, or I can change her, and it's like no.
No, he probably thinks that. I think it's probably a bit. This kind of contradicts what I said earlier, but it's probably a bit more simpler, because I just thought about this. It's like, if Andy gets out, there's more of a chance he might get caught
yeah,
doing it.
of course.
Well, not because Andy will spill the beans, but because Andy's a free man.
like so the idea of having Andy as a free man.
No, because if Andy's a free man
Yeah.
and he's running around, he can be arrested again and then put on trial again. You understand? But if he's in prison, he's technically like the state's, not the state's, he's kind of like the state's property
Kind
in
of.
a way, right? Because he can be used for slave labor and shit like that,
Kind
getting
of.
paid very little.
Was it a private prison?
No, I don't think so. No, he said
Wait.
it's taxpayer paid.
Taxpayer paid. Okay.
So it's the idea is that if Andy goes out, there's more of a chance that he might get caught because he's running around doing whatever. But if he's in the prison, he's in a controlled environment. And Norton has, like you said, he's a control freak, right? He's in a controlled environment, and he knows where Andy is all the time, and he knows that Andy can't call anyone, talk to anyone about it, accidentally spill the beans, whatever. It's just much more secure in that sense. But at the same time, he's taking away in my opinion, it's still like a mistake to do the whole thing, like for him to keep Andy in jail because it ostracized him pretty much immediately. But at the same time, if he let Andy go, he wouldn't have made nearly as much money as he ended up making.
But dude, nothing gets out of that prison as well, though, right? So he bends the truth as much as he wants to. He plays the role of God. That's why he killed the guy. I'm so sorry, I forgot what his
Tommy.
name was. Tommy, right? He killed Tommy and made it seem like he was trying to escape and everything, right? So for him keeping him in prison, you're saying that it would ostracize him, but it's like,
it's just because Tommy used to work on the dogs.
Not that it matters.
Well, it's that like he didn't know that fucking Andy was been digging a hole for 20 years.
Yeah.
Because they neglected that one thing to inspect that one thing, like see what's behind it or whatever.
Which I'm sorry, you're telling me for 20 years nobody noticed that? Nobody.
I mean,
Nothing?
back then, I feel like it might have been different because for me, it seemed obvious watching it the first time because I feel like that plot might have been already spoiled to me like way back then. But when the movie was first released, I think it was like, whoa, that's crazy. It's like seeing someone like escape the way that he did.
That's true. Like honestly, nowadays it's a lot harder to fool this generation just because we've come to see a lot of different movies, a lot of different things in pop culture.
I just think I think the escape is not possible today because there's probably cameras in the jail cells and shit.
Yeah.
This movie was based in the 40s, right? Or in the 50s?
40s to 60s.
Yeah. Because it's over.
I forget what decade it's in.
it's 40s to 60s.
He gets in prison 1947. He gets out in 1966.
Okay.
So he was in there for like 19 years.
Okay. How long did it take for Red to come out after that?
40.
A year.
A year.
A year out. That makes sense.
Because
he was already there for 20 years. When
Andy came in, he had been there for 20 years.
Okay.
And he had done the interview for the 20th year, and then when he did his 30 years, Andy mentioned that he'd been there for 10 years.
Yeah.
Fuck me. The movie's like 2.5 hours long, but it's like fucking 10 years of time.
20.
In his case, it's 20. But like just 20 years of time, just like.
And they did a great job with like aging the characters as well.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
It's subtle, but you see it. It's very nice.
Yeah. No, especially with Andy's character, I thought that was very, very cool the way they did that. Yeah.
You see his crow's feet when he smiles.
Oh, that's so nice.
So we're gonna move on. Why was Red finally released after so many attempts at parole?
Yeah, so that's something I wanted to talk about as well.
Talk about it. Go for it. I'll piggyback on you.
Because I think because we see like his we saw like his first couple of interviews were very I felt like it was like robotic and it was like he was following the script, right? So I think that's why they were like, oh, this guy's not ready yet because he's not speaking from the heart. It's like he's not genuine about it. He's just trying to get out, trying to find another excuse. So when they noticed that like he doesn't care anymore and he's like, listen, I know that I've changed and oh, no, sorry. What did he say? No, he didn't say I know that I've changed. He says I don't know what rehabilitation means, right? Something like that. And how like he wants to go back and tell the young boy that he once was that like what you're doing is stupid or it's not worth it. Yeah. That's when they're like, that's what they said is like, okay, now it's like he kind of understands his play. He understood like.
But he said that he doesn't regret doing what he did.
No, he said he
regrets it. He regrets it every day.
He says
there's not a day that goes by that he regret. Okay, fair enough. My bad.
Why would he?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
the guy was saying
he's
like I don't give a shit. Frankly, I don't give a shit. So I was in like when
he said about the stamp. He's like, I know you guys are just gonna like use a stamp on like a piece of paper to declare that I'm gonna stay here another 10 years, and frankly, I don't give a shit. Something I'm not like not quoting him exactly, but roughly around that.
I cannot tell you. It's confidential.
So what are you gonna say to piggyback on what I said then?
I honestly, exactly what Auden said. He covered all the bases. He approached all the angles. Except for that one. Wait. Oh, my hand.
What?
No, because it's like oh, I know this town like the back of my hand. Oh wait, that's new. It's like a whole ass building has been directed. It's my favorite line to use. Thank you, Robin Williams. But yeah, as for Red, why they released them, I mean, I actually, before the podcast, I wanted to check how long is a life sentence, like on average. I wanted to check it and I forgot. God damn it.
I mean, but before the podcast, we were talking about it. Like, this might be a bit embarrassing, but I thought a life sentence is really like literally until the person dies. So when someone is given more than a life sentence, I thought they just kept the corpse in the cell. That's what I thought it was. But I realized that's not the case. What a story.
Because they say 25 to life. I don't think it's 25 years though.
Okay, so it's, what was it? Life imprisonment is any sentence of imprisonment for a crime under which convicted people are to remain in prison for however long they have lived or indefinitely until pardoned, paroled, or otherwise commuted to a fixed term.
Okay.
Wait, so sorry. So however long they've lived, that's how long they're staying in prison.
So like, let's say you get in, you're 30 years old.
You stay another 30 years.
Yeah, but so then that's fucked because Red was in his early 20s max.
So he probably had multiple life sentences.
Yeah.
Yo. Crazy.
Okay, that makes more sense.
So Andy was in his like late 20s, and he was gonna say he had 2 life sentences. So he would say like 50 years.
Yikes.
Like 40 to 50 years.
40
yeah.
to 50, yeah.
Jeez.
Fucking
hell no.
So he just stayed for maybe like 1 life sentence, not even. Less than a life sentence.
Less than a life sentence. Yeah.
But still, that's 20 fucking years.
That's rough, man.
Prison changes a man.
So there's like 25 to life. So that's usually it's 20 years, 25 years, or life sentence.
So kids, if you want any advice, if you want to do any killing, do it when you're 15 years old. Like, do one, okay? Just do one, and then like you'll be 15 years.
You'll be out by 30.
Yeah, it's okay. You still have a life,
and it'll build you.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means if you kill someone when you're 70, you're like gone.
You're fucked.
I mean, you're
okay,
gone either way.
To be fair, I don't get the point of that. Like, why does it, like, why would you, like, if you're younger, why would you stay less than if you were older? And if you're like way older, why would you stay way more than if you were like in your 30s?
Welcome to the judicial system of the U.S.
I just don't understand that logic, though. I just don't understand that logic.
Well,
there's other factors that play into it too, of course.
Yeah, like it's not like cut and dry for sure, but
I think it's because once Red saw that Andy had escaped, it kind of lit a bit of a fire under him. So he understood that like what he was doing before was like wasn't really working very well for him. So when he finally got out, for good, and he became a free man, Morgan Freeman. That's
good.
So he piss fake boss. So he finally like adapted to the situation of like trying to get hope, because he had lost hope at that point, and the movie talks a lot about like having hope and having aspirations for other things.
That's interesting that you bring that up, actually, because remember in the movie, like halfway through when they were talking, I think it was in the cafeteria, they were talking about like hope is sort of what drives you, and Red mentions that like hope doesn't mean anything here, like it's like how it's like useless because like you're not going anywhere.
But it's a big theme in the movie.
It is a big theme, but I just thought of this because like every time that they would what do you call it? No. Like when they would like interview him. What's the process called again? Sorry.
Interview. Yeah. Parole interview.
Parole interview. Thank you. Every time they were doing his parole interview, like every 10 years, he always had a bit of hope, right? Because like he would come in with like a script, hoping that like, oh, maybe this time it will work. And it was once he completely gave up that hope, Andy had left, and he's like, he just came to acceptance with, I'm gonna spend the rest of my life here. That he kind of just doesn't give a shit, and that's where it worked for him. was when
So
he
when
let
you-
go.
So when you let go of it,
Yeah. When you let go of the hope, that's when it worked out for him.
It's funnily enough what happens when you let go of a lot of stuff.
That's true. You get the things that you want most once you like.
Once you stop chasing them,
Exactly.
you just let them attract towards you. See, he can be his own guru. Oh my God, he is the 1960s Sadhguru. All right, Sadhguru.
I love that, man.
wait, isn't Morgan Freeman already a guru? I mean, he's like 105 years old, but he looks like
He's
he's
105.
50.
Wait, we're gonna have a Mandela effect here now. Is he 100? No, I'm kidding. I don't know. How old is the guy?
Oh,
Did he just pop out like that?
I'm pretty sure nobody's I think has ever seen Morgan Freeman without gray hair.
I think he turned 50 and then like just stayed.
Stayed as 50 because
stayed
black
as
don't
50.
crack.
I like that he has earrings all the time, so that if he dies in a foreign land, he can pay for his coffin. That's his reason.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's why he has earrings.
No way.
Yeah, they're very expensive earrings.
Oh my god.
So you best bet if he loses one of them, he's gonna be like, "Where the fuck is that?"
Oh shit. I can only afford half a coffin.
It's like his upper body is just like.
No, but
I'm gonna have to narrate Steve Carell now.
And imagine it's a cold day, so the upper body is just
But-
shivering.
but why would Morgan Freeman? I mean, that's so smart, but like, why would he worry about that, bro? He's like one of the biggest celebrities. He's really concerned about not being able to afford a coffin.
I'm sure that was something that
I'm sure
that came out
I'm
when
sure
he
that's
was younger.
Yeah, I'm sure that's just some
Maybe.
cap reason.
But it's a cool reason.
It's
It
a
is.
cool reason.
Let me
It is, to be
let
honest.
me appreciate it for.
Why
what
do you
it
wear
is.
earrings so that if I'm in a foreign land, I can bury myself with a coffin?
Yo.
It's a very Nicolas Cage-esque answer. Well, no, actually, Nicolas Cage is younger than Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman has cancer.
Did you say Morgan Freeman is cancer?
No
I-
answer.
Oh.
Oh my
I
I heard
god.
cancer as well.
No, but Nicolas Cage has a pyramid as for a tomb ready for him. And I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see him enter it
Nicolas
like a
Cage.
pharaoh.
I can't tell if you're being serious.
I will
Oh,
show,
Auden-
I'll show it to you
Auden
after
re-
the podcast.
Auden really likes pharaohs and pyramids.
Yeah, I know. He's an Egyptian
It has been
Luzai.
9 years. He has not dropped the joke since. 9 years.
Really? I haven't heard this before.
Dude. I'm scared to bring it up now because it's like start a whole new chain now.
Oh, that's definitely gonna
So-
start a whole
It's-
thing, but it doesn't
I-
matter. The cat is
Yeah,
out of the bag.
So basically,
I went to Egypt when I was 14.
Okay.
Okay. And it was like a very cool experience. And I came back all like joyful and excited to like share with my friends. And he hasn't dropped the fact that I've been to Egypt. He's been calling me Egyptian every for the last 9 years.
Aren't you Egyptian Armenian though?
Technically,
Didn't-
yes, I am.
didn't you-
From my dad's side.
Okay.
I'm Egyptian Armenian.
The man's a
But I'm
pharaoh.
not an actual
The man's a
Egyptian.
pharaoh.
So, wait, you're Egyptian Armenian?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow,
Don't tell me you didn't know.
I'm
this.
sorry.
I thought
In
that was part of the
in
joke.
another,
I didn't know.
You didn't know this?
Excuse me. In another life, you were a hieroglyph. Okay, like you were like 2D. You're like that 2D Spider-Man. Okay, like.
Give me what I want!
Oh my
Give us the gold. The pharaohs. Give us your liver in like an urn, in a jar.
I can't believe you didn't know that after 9 years.
I didn't know that.
He really picked. And there was actually Panos reminded me. Panos recently he was telling me how he had like not nightmares but like this dream of like the time that he was like bullying me about this, and I snapped in class and I got so angry. I just started screaming at him in the middle of class and I got kicked out for it.
Yeah, he was
And
probably
he couldn't
screaming
stop
like,
laughing.
You were probably screaming, "Why you ass?"
Exactly.
Why you ass?
Yeah, thinking back, honestly, that was like the stupidest yet funniest thing that happened to me.
What, going to Egypt?
No. Oh my God. I was a tight ass like in high school growing up.
What?
Wait, what's the term?
I
Sorry,
don't-
I said tight ass. Wait, what do you say? What do you call it again?
Tight ass?
I don't know. What are you
Call-
talking about?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
I thought you said
What?
No, but I was uptight. Jesus.
Uptight.
I said tight ass. I was very uptight.
tell you, it's
I was very
confidential.
uptight in high school. Looking back,
Anyway, how is your sex life?
Yeah. How is your sex life? What's the next question?
So, okay, yeah.
Tight ass.
The next question The next question is, what is the message of the film?
If you stick around long enough, nice things will happen.
No.
If you live long
It's the
enough, you
biggest
might.
piece of dog shit.
If you live long enough, you might meet a friend called Andy, and then he'll let you go. Like, bye, Woody. And Andy just drops Morgan Freeman. Like, I don't want to play with you anymore. Bye, Morgan.
I was gonna make a Toy Story joke actually when you asked the question regarding
Toy
Andy
Story?
earlier. Toy Story. Have you seen that meme?
What,
There's
Mike
a picture of
Tyson?
Mike Tyson in the Buzz Lightyear costume. Toy Story 4.
But no, like if you live long enough, you have a friend called Andy. Let go of you, and then he inspires you to come join him. That's the whole
Oh,
thing.
that's
There's
so sad.
If you look closely in the movie, you can see under Morgan Freeman's shoe, you can see the name Andy.
yes.
Wait, going back to the the theme of the movie.
There's a lot of themes.
There's a lot of themes.
There's
I'll-
hope.
Hope definitely is one of them. I think my favorite quote from the movie was you either get busy living or get busy dying. That's
Exactly.
probably like
What does
my
he mean by
favorite
that?
quote. What does he
What do
mean
you
by
mean
that?
by that?
I mean, either you're gonna stick to the same routines, like give up hope and like live the rest of your days till the day you die, or you're gonna live day by day and you're gonna do something about it and live your life.
Exactly. There's another saying that's like the saying is a man has two lives. A human has two lives.
You have
Let's-
two wolves.
You have two wolves inside of you. One is Barbie, with the other is Oppenheimer.
Oh, Barbie!
Wait, have you seen the what was it? There's someone who commented, "Do I need to see Barbie before when I understand Oppenheimer?" If I haven't seen Barbie,
But no, every human has two lives. The one that they were born into, and then when they realize that they only have one. So, like, I kind of think that get busy living is live your life, not don't try to. I mean, obviously, we're looking into this like a like a English professor, like you know. Oh, the curtains were blue because the author had depression, that sort of thing. You know, get busy living. Carpe diem, seize the day. You know, like live life to the fullest, or get busy dying. Live your life in a routine, dead end rat race routine that you do not like, you do not appreciate, but it's safety, it's comfort.
Do you think maybe get busy dying is kind of like the life that a lot of people live in the sense where they work these jobs and they work until they're 65 and then at that point they retire and then they realize, oh fuck, my whole life, all I've been doing is working.
Well,
this
like,
fucking
exactly.
dude,
crappy
take yourself
job.
as an example. Like, you started a whole podcast from the ground up. You invested so much of your time and money into it, and it's like that's the best example of get busy dying. Like, no, I'm joking.
Fuck you, bitch.
Thought I was going somewhere with this. No. But seriously though, like you woke up one day and you're like, yo, I want to do something with my life. You know, do something that I enjoy doing, and that's what you ended up doing, bro. Like, mad respect for that.
And that's how I became a porn star.
And-
I'm kidding. My OnlyFans is Sarah. I'm kidding.
People actually-
Is it Saro? S-A-R?
yeah, add it in the
No, it's
description under this
sorrow.
video.
It's sorrow. It's SORROW heart. Yeah.
You're gonna put it in the middle of the
Go
screen,
fuck
bro.
yourself.
No, I'm gonna,
But
What do you think the message is?
I was talking about it kind of the whole time, which was about adaptation. So it's
Mm.
adapting to your environment, adapting to your situation, because obviously hope is like a very clear-cut message. I think you can have multiple messages within a movie. It's not just one or the other. It's obviously up to interpretation, like how I interpreted, what was the movie called? American Psycho as an anti-drug movie.
anti-drug movie.
Yeah. No, I can see that.
We all have different interpretations for stuff, and my interpretation personally is that
It's wrong.
Fuck you, bitch. Go fuck yourself.
Your interpretation.
Fuck you, Aaron.
What's your interpretation?
Aaron, Beligas Luzai.
Shameful display!
You should have that Beligas Luzef for like all of us.
I don't make those fucking AIs. Shout out to Panos. What was it? Oh yeah, so it's all about adapting to those threatening environments, to when life puts your feet to the fire, and then you have to learn to either adapt or die.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they're so used to a specific scenario in their lives that they can only adapt to that one type of situation, and they can only adapt when things are right or things are perfect. But the reality is life often is not perfect and doesn't have those perfect scenarios. And if you only try to strive to get to those perfect scenarios and try to make something out of yourself through those, like, oh well, I'm not gonna ask her out today because the sun is at high noon instead of at 1 o'clock, and that'll like disrupt my my facial features or something like that.
Oh no, she's tired. She normally has an early bedtime, so I'm gonna ask her when she has a clear mind.
Or what was it? I'm not gonna ask her out now because it's too soon. I'm gonna ask her out later when I see her, and then they never see her again. You know, it's stuff like that. Like it's all about like you said, carpe diem, kind of seize the day. But it's adapting to situations. You have to learn to, you know, move forward. You have to learn to, you know, become useful not just to yourself but to society and to the people around you, and adapting to those right situations. And so if you're having trouble, you know, if you're trying to figure out like, okay, how do I do this, how do I approach to this person, or how do I come up with this project, it's like you have to learn to adapt to those situations. Like for example, I had to go to this family function today. That's why I did the show earlier today. So it's like we started recording at like 1 o'clock when we usually record around 5. But the thing is, the function was moved to yesterday. And yes, the night before is usually when I rewatch the movie like a second time. I rewatch it, and then I rewatch it again, and then I take down the notes so it's fresh in my mind. I remember everything from it, right? Because I just watched it. But because the function was last night and I had to use all day, I just watched it during the day when I had my free time and like little snippets of time, and I just wrote down whenever I possibly could. But I adapted to that situation. You know, I was going to do a show next week, but I had to move it or cancel it because I have to make enough shorts because I'll be traveling soon. So
Oh, where are you going, Chris?
I'm going up your ass.
He's going to Punta Cana. That's where it is. It's of Aaron's ass crack. Oh, absolute tragedy. Actually, I would like to visit though. Hi.
But yeah, so I think that's what's a lesson that you can learn from this movie?
Well, I was gonna say something before, but I forgot because instead we started talking about Punta Cana. I did. Adapting. What was the example that you gave? You gave the example
like for girls, let's say.
For girls?
Like, let's say you have to not adapting to the situation when it comes to like trying to see. Let's say it's not a perfect day out. You're not like dressed.
Making up excuses to like
exactly
asking a girl out. Is that what you're saying?
Like,
I don't know about you, but I just flake. I'm kidding. I don't.
No, like because I know there's like there's a bunch of people who have trouble with that.
Yeah.
Like they have trouble approaching because the situation is not perfect.
Right.
Or it's changed,
right? Like
people make up scenarios in their minds and it doesn't match their expectations.
Exactly. So it's you have this sort of expectation instead of trying to go like day by day and adapting to the situation day by day. And if you do that, I think that's the best scenario. Because I didn't expect to gain like fucking 12 subs over a fucking McDonald's short earlier this week, but I did, that kind of thing.
Good for you, by the way.
Thank
more
you.
of you, please subscribe.
to the Shade Cinema podcast.
Yes.
Sub from Subway.
Just like Joe Rogan said. So
Subscribe to
himself,
the Shade
as
Cinema
well as
podcast.
Star Wars Theory and who else? Drake.
I don't have Star Wars Theory.
Didn't Star Wars Theory like say that? Oh no, that was
Dinjarin.
Dinjarin. But
Aaron
Drake
Belegus
as
Luzai.
well, right?
Drake. Well, I removed Drake because his fucking thing
No!
took 5 years.
Oh,
But I think that's one of the lessons you can learn.
Yeah.
It's just adapting to the situations. Let's say, not just that, but let's say like you're at a job, you don't really like it, but there's this other job that could pay you more, but it's a bit more of a travel commute. There's a bit more of a commute to it.
well, just the idea of quitting your job to then start a new path with new people scares others, even if you are guaranteed more pay.
So exactly. So it's all about like trying to adapt to that situation.
Yeah.
So for example, I used to work at Thai Express. I've said this story before, but like I used to work at Thai Express, and there's this guy there who worked there for like fucking 10 years or something, like a really long time. And
someone with a life.
What?
Someone with a life.
Exactly. So he worked there for a very long time, but when I worked there, this was years ago, he always complained about, oh, well, I fucking hate this place. I'm up to here with this place. But he was always there. He would always eat the food. He would always whatever. But because he was complacent and comfortable within that situation, he was in a way conditioned and institutionalized by his job to stay there. And you see this a lot in places, right? There's either people who've been there for like a year, maybe 2 years. There's people who've been there for 10 years.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Because people who were there for a year or 2 years, they're willing to jump from job to job.
Yeah.
But the people who've been there for 10 years, they're so comfortable in where they're at that they're not willing to really push and strive to become better. And it's always about, in my opinion, to strive to become better.
Well, people, and you see this a lot with older generations. It's like you start. Let's say you're running. Your life is a very
Life is a dream.
No, it's a gravelly road, right? And you're on a run, and you start to get pain in your knee, and instead of like stopping to like actually take care of it, or like change something about the way that you're running at least, like, or like to go get help. You just continue running and you bear that pain on you. And because it reminds you that okay, yeah, for some people it reminds them that they're alive, or it reminds them that, okay, like I have something going for me in a twisted way.
Mm-hmm.
But it just hinders them, and it makes them more bitter when they see newcomers, like the new generation. Let's say they have a stomach ache and they're like, oh, like I have a stomach ache, I can't really do this. And it's like, no, like you just grit your teeth and do it,
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of old generation, a lot of our past generation, like they always talk about jobs or marriage or stuff like that, like in that manner. Like, no, just grit your teeth and go through it, like bear that pain, or like just stick at it. But like that in itself is complacency.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sorry, but if you're having knee pain, go get your ass checked. Well, your knee checked, but go check it out.
Go check your ass also.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Hey man, like for men, like colon cancer is the thing. Okay, so go.
So if you were to take all of that TLDR, what's like, take that lesson, what can you put in a sentence?
What does TLDR mean again?
Too long didn't read.
Too long didn't read again. Okay. Go get help. I'm kidding. Do go get help. But no, like always strive to be the Ubermensch. Strive to be the better. Yeah, no. I'm going there. I don't give a fuck. Strive to be the Ubermensch. Be the better man. Carpe diem. Seize the day.
And get a life.
Get busy living. Stop dying. You only have one life. Neil deGrasse Tyson fucks. He does fuck. It's
Allegedly.
apparent. Allegedly. He has kids, but like, allegedly. Yeah. I love you. I love you, Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm a huge fan.
Mainly because his middle name is The Grass.
The grass.
Of grass.
No, it's the
of grass. It's of grass.
I'm gonna come.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So what do you
The
think
most perfect man. Have you seen that Brooklyn Nine-Nine episode, by the way?
It's just physics,
Just
Terry.
physics, Terry.
Just physics.
I love that.
Well, he does lift.
Oh,
He
sure.
lifts.
So what do you think, Auden? What is the lesson from the movie?
I think I mean, again, there's a lot of lessons from the movie, and like I said earlier, like my favorite quote from the movie is like "Get busy dying or get busy living." It's like I feel like I kind of relate to that as well, because I spent a lot of my life like just going to school, doing the things that I enjoyed doing, and like kind of not getting out of my comfort zone. But I've gone to the habit of pushing myself, doing more, like
Becoming better.
and all that. So it's I just noticed actually this chessboard is wrong.
Oh, that's okay. I still love you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
By the way, in case you guys haven't noticed, there's a few pieces missing here. A little sneak peek thought of by Chris. Oh, you only see it on that camera? No, you see it with that one as well. No?
Yeah, I'm saying like.
Yeah, this one. Exactly. Yeah, just check it out.
Yeah, the pieces that are missing are the same pieces that are in the movie. The little things I do for you, so you better subscribe.
Subscribe to the Shade Cinema podcast.
But yeah, to be honest, like there's not much more to add on to what you guys said. I think it was very
would
well
you say?
put.
Can you give an example of
Yeah.
where you should have adapted but you didn't?
Where I didn't. I think the easiest place would be in my like competitive like soccer career, because like it was a big passion of mine. It still is.
He plays for Ronaldo's team.
Yeah. We're Al Nasser. No, I'm kidding.
Al Jazeera Plus.
But
Gang.
no, because like from the start, like when I first started playing the sport, for me it was like much more about fun, and it's like I always wanted to get somewhere, but like I never really knew how much effort. Like, yeah, well, I mean, I put the effort in, but it was like I treated it more like it was fun and games rather than like treating it like a job, like you're supposed to, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Job, like not in a sense like you just cut and dry, like without emotion, but like
No,
just
but you
more
wanna make
doing
it
the
into
things that you need to
career.
do.
Yeah.
I wanted to make it into a career, right? So it's like for me realizing that like I have to approach it a certain way. I have to change my certain habits. Like it was sort of like an awakening for me when I started noticing that like my teammates were flying up and like we're getting places. Like, dude, one of my friends recently got on Team Canada.
No way.
Dude, I'm like watching interviews. I'm like, bro, I played with him, man. Like, what? Like, it's crazy, you know?
And,
so
I,
it's
and
like,
I will make it a point to not watch him.
But you're
ever.
better though. You're better though, no?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, of course, bro. No, but it's like, that's one example. School is another example. Like when I went to CEGEP, big awakening. I treated math like it was a joke in high school. Went there, got terrible grades. First time in my life in mathematics. I'm like, okay,
Really?
shit, you have to get my shit together.
Mm-hmm.
So like all that stuff, responsibilities with scouting, for example. I mean, there's so much happening in my life. It's kind of hard to.
Just don't be complacent.
Yeah.
It's not hard. What's the worst that could happen? You go out with some friends and you die. You had a pretty fulfilling life up until that point.
I think it's like you have to always be like have this mentality like, okay, I'm ready to die.
Yeah, okay, you don't really want
Like you don't
to.
want to die, but
You don't
you're
want
ready.
to, but like
No,
like,
not
okay,
no,
at least
you're not ready.
at least
I think it's more like you're
Like
yeah,
I'm
sorry.
fulfilled.
It just at least make sure that whatever you're doing in that moment is something that you would like to be doing, you know, even as the world is
Okay.
coming to an end.
Okay, this is something I told myself. It's like do stuff that your future self will appreciate you doing.
Yeah.
Do something that, like, for example,
When your
if
future self looks back.
it will be like, oh, I'm happy my past self did this.
Yeah, like
I'm
when
happy I did this before.
that's true.
Like
When
like you do for let me just, it's a small example, right?
Sure.
But let's say my past, like my current self is like, okay, well, I have this thing I have to do, but it's due in like 2-3 days. I have a choice. Do I do it now and then have those 2-3 days off, or do I do it in 2-3 days
Yeah.
and I just kind of worry about it, and like I build up this anticipation. So if you do it now, your future self is going to be like, oh, thank God I did it then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I used to tell myself, especially in school, like as an excuse not to procrastinate. I used to say, like, if I don't do this now, my future self is gonna hate my.
So I'm not a big fan of just saying, oh, just don't do this or just don't do that. I think it's like you have to have like practical applications of that, and I think that's so. Just again, do stuff that your future self will appreciate. Yeah. Go to the gym, go and do other stuff, right? But again, adapt to certain situations, right? Like people, for example, who are like kind of short, they use that as like a crutch to be, you know, lazy or to not try to reach their full potential. If you're short as fuck, go to the fucking gym. Go start fucking pumping iron. At least you'll look good.
And get taller.
And get taller. Wear taller shoes.
Or pick your nose. I don't know. Like change something about you.
Or learn how to fight or something. Like just do something. It's like you have to adapt to that situation, you know.
Yeah.
You can't be super tall, strong, handsome like me. You have to develop.
Yeah, you have to.
But this is not something that's.
You have to scratch your
balls. It's not a genetic thing, you know. I didn't get like, you know, more muscular through genetics. I had to eat right. I had to man of the woods. I had to eat right. I had to go to the gym constantly and consistently, and you have to pace yourself. You have to put in the work.
As opposed to now, you don't do it consistently, or.
Well, no, I still do it,
okay.
but it's always an issue of, you know, to me it's not even an issue of time. It's like I delegate the time.
You're just trying to be an Ubermensch. That's okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be German, like like those like that crowd in Iran when they played they played the soccer match and they were doing the.
no. Not the thing.
So we're gonna continue on with the ratings.
The ratings. Okay, so we're gonna rate this movie from 1 to 5. So I changed it up a little bit, the lineup. So 1 out of 5 is. Did you just fart or did you crack? That was a crack.
That was
Holy
scary,
fucking shit, bro!
Are you okay?
That sounded like a fucking fart, bro.
That sounded like a gunshot, rather.
Holy shit!
I'd like No, it's my ankles. I cracked.
Oh, it's your ankles. Okay.
Yeah, my cankles.
I thought that was your back, man.
No. My
His back?
You want to swallow what I give you to swallow.
Oh my god.
So 1 out of 5 is.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
2 out of 5.
Thank you.
3 out of 5 is.
I mean, it's all right. Like
4 out of 5 is. And 5 out of 5 is.
I'm at the blow.
Okay, and give what you like, the things you like about the movie, and then the rating.
Things I like about the movie: the dialogue is everything. Shots. I like the change in color scheme. I really do. They were very. I forget who's the director.
Fuck, the director. He's not a common name.
Nolan.
No fucking way. He went from this to Oppenheimer. Fuck. Plot twist. He's also directing Barbie. But no. I love the movie so much. I watched it at a young age. I didn't understand half of what was going on when I was younger. I watched it when I was older. I absolutely adore it. It has it holds the same place in my heart as The Green Mile. Also an adaptation of a book written by Stephen King.
Wait, The Green Mile. Sorry, I don't want to be mistaking stories here. Was this the pianist?
No. The Pianist is with the guy
Was that Green Book?
No. The Green Mile is with Tom Hanks. It's a very wonderful movie. I suggest everyone go and watch it. You will be a grown ass macho man and you will cry. I cried through Shawshank Redemption. It's a beautiful movie. It's well drawn out, in my opinion. I think it's well drawn out.
It's perfectly length.
Yeah, perfect. There's girth too. It's amazing. Yeah. Oh. We're gonna have a meeting about this right now. The characters too, very diverse, very human. You feel for them, you relate to them, and you learn to love them. Like especially Brooks with his bird. His bird. Where is my bird?
Jake.
My bird.
My bird.
Jake.
His bird's name was Jake.
Jake.
Paul.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I absolutely love the movie. I could go into a whole bunch more about it.
So, what would you give it as a rating?
5 out of 5.
I'm about to blow.
It's one of those few movies that I think deserves a 5 out of 5 in my book.
So 5 out of 5.
I'm about to blow.
Yep. Yeah.
So Adam, what do you think?
It's. I mean, I didn't get to watch it when I was young. I'm actually surprised that your parents showed. Well, how old were you when you first watched it?
Well, I remember being in the staircase, pretending to be asleep upstairs and watching like entire movies while my parents were watching them. So like I watched it when I was like 6 years old.
So you
Oh,
heard.
wow.
So you heard this while you were 6.
Actually, yeah, I did. Obviously, I didn't understand jack shit, but then I've watched it I've watched it like at least 3 times. I think total of 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love it. Love the movie.
I love it.
I love you.
So I didn't get to watch it when I was very young. I kind of watched it firsthand. Oh,
No, continue. Continue. What's going on?
I was. So yeah, I watched. I can't remember how old was I the first time I watched it. I want to say like 2-3 years ago. Like I was like 20 or something. So it's like. I understood quite a bit watching it the first time, and it took me by surprise by how like just perfect the movie was. There were barely any flaws to it. Like the storyline was beautiful. Like you relate to the characters, like you said, and I love the controversy in the roles. How like all these men are put in prison for like crimes that they've committed, but they became like worse than the people they used to be. Like growing up and being formed in these prisons, and the people running it were even worse than,
Or even bigger crooks than the crooks.
even bigger crooks than the crooks, and they've committed way worse than what they've done to be there in the first place.
It's also, keep in mind, what was it? Andy said this to Red in the library when he was describing the scams and stuff that he was running for Norton. He said, when I was outside, when I was on the outside as a free man, I was clean, straight as an arrow. I had to come to prison to become a crook.
That's
That's true.
That's interesting. That's so interesting. But yeah,
But
like
that pie looked fucking scrumptious, though.
All right,
What?
well, just you saying that makes me want to have pumpkin pie now. I don't care.
There was
if it's summer.
remember when they were trying to build this highway or something, and then Norton talks to some foreman, and then the foreman gives him a cake, like this pie and a bunch of money, a bunch of cash.
Oh yes, I remember that.
And he's like, "Woman can't bake for shit." And then he gives the pie to Andy, and then Andy shares it with Red.
Yeah, that was cool. But no, and the score. I forgot how amazing the score was for that movie. Oh,
really
like
good.
everything. It was like, man, it's like it set the benchmark for like how a movie should be made.
Basically, it's in that golden age, I find.
Yeah. So there was that as well. Me watching it the first time, like in this time of cinema, like it is very different. So like for me, getting up to pace with how the movies used to be back then, it took me a bit of getting used to. But as soon as I was like kind of like completely like devolved into that era of like cinema, I was like, I really, really appreciated the film.
Yeah.
Because it is a bit slow at the start, but it's like it's everything was so necessary and just perfectly executed.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Everything down to the last
minute details.
minute details.
Yeah.
So, what's your rating?
Why are you ass for sure?
Why you ass?
No, come on, you gotta
You gotta give it.
blow up for this, man. You gotta give it a 5.
I'm about to blow.
So 5 out of 5.
100%.
Okay.
I'm about to blow.
Like I don't think it's an exaggeration if we say it's one of the best movies of all time.
Really, really not. It's pretty much a perfect film.
Yeah.
What I'm curious, what did you guys give for The Last Samurai?
We didn't have a
you
rating.
didn't rate it?
Yeah. no.
Okay.
How would you rate it?
Like a 4.
Yeah.
Like a 4. I would give it a 4.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like, cause it's a very good movie. It's very touching. It's oh my god. But when it comes to Shawshank Redemption, it's one of those movies. Listen, Auden knows this. I'm pretty sure you know this as well. I don't like rewatching movies. Even sometimes rewatching movies for the show. Like when I had to rewatch Imitation Game, I struggled a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a show.
We did a show on Imitation.
We did a show on
Oh,
Imitation
I
Game.
felt like a TV show.
Oh,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no.
Okay.
So when we did the show for Imitation Game, I kind of struggled rewatching it twice because it's like I don't like rewatching movies because it's like just fresh in my mind. But at the same time, I want to get a refresher, then take notes on it. This movie, I was like, at first, like you said, it's a bit slow, but as the movie kept going, I was like, shit, this movie's so fucking good.
Because everything
You
just
get really
connects,
invested.
man.
You get really invested.
Everything
man.
connects. Like, there was a scene I noticed this. I noticed this the second time I watched it this week. When Tommy throws the exam into the garbage and Andy goes to the garbage to pick it up, he's wearing the same shoes that he gives to Norton at the end. So it's like connections and stuff in the movie.
Okay, interesting.
By
the way, sorry, if there is any flaw in the movie, I would say that it was the shoes. Cause
how did he come off clean? Yeah, I know, it's weird. After he climbed through shit.
Oh no, that's not even that's not even
the
it.
reason.
No, because like
just-
remember
that's
how he
just
says
movie
like
shit.
yes, you're right. Like normally, like people don't normally look at a man's
people's
shoes. Okay, but you can hear him walk in those heels. Like, heels. Like it was like what's the sound that you
The
make when you're
soles.
wearing like yeah. Like it
Dress
was so
shoes.
clear. Like they were like he was wearing dress shoes. It's
But like when it's
I don't-
late
I don't
like
know how
that,
you
when
can-
it's late like that, like and it's people are tired, they don't notice it. They
no,
just say
like
whatever.
again, like you're noticing how
That's why
far
it
we're
goes from
boiling down,
100%
like,
to 98.
yes. No, but like notice like how much we have to boil down to like these minute details to really try to find a flaw in the film. It's
Yeah,
We're just gonna turn into CinemaSins at that point.
So my rating is
You want to swallow what I...
no. My rating is like everyone else.
It's the big...
Oops.
I'm about to blow.
Like there's another again like there's very few movies that I would give 5 out of 5. The Green Mile is one of them. Another one was I said the last time, right? But have you guys watched Empire of the Rising Sun with
No.
Christian Bale?
No.
Bro, oh my god, you guys have to watch it. It's with John Malkovich, Christian Bale when he's a kid too, Anal. Like
Oh, yeah.
he's a kid. And
So when he was a
beautiful.
beg your pardon.
mass murderer, psychopath.
Yeah, exactly. Like he kills Jared Leto in that too. I'm kidding.
Wait, you're actually serious?
No, fuck
Oh,
Jared.
shit.
No, I'm just saying like he kills Jared Leto
What do you mean
in
he kills
everything.
Jared Leto?
Because he kills Jared Leto in the American Psycho, right?
Wait, what? Jared Leto's in
That's
American?
Jared Leto.
It's Jared Leto.
Oh my gosh,
Wait,
I never
Peter-
made that connection.
Bro, it's Jared Leto.
Yes, dude, the first dude, what that he killed with an
Huey
axe.
Lewis.
Oh my gosh.
When he's giving like the whole
Yes.
thing, a rundown of
That's
how
Jared Leto.
It's
Yes,
Jared fucking Leto.
it makes so much sense.
How is Jared Leto the one actor I can never recognize?
him.
Oh my gosh.
For some reason, I always hump. I always lump. I hump Jared Leto. Yes. No. I lump Jared Leto and Jake Gyllenhaal together for some reason. Like they.
No, to me
It's
they-
Paul Allen's card.
Paul Allen. So he was fucking Paul Allen. No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
He was Paul Allen.
He wasn't fucking
fornicating.
Paul Allen, but like,
What are you talking about?
He was fornicating with a fictional man.
So if you guys enjoyed that video and that whole show, leave a like, subscribe to the channel.
Ballsy.
Subscribe to the Shade Cinema Podcast, motherfuckers. Do it now.
So in 2 weeks' time, we will be doing a show
Yes.
on a very important piece of media. You want to give a drum roll, guys? Breaking Bad. So
Motherfucker.
why?
Are you guys
I
gonna?
don't know.
I would actually.
I guess I gotta binge watch the rest of it. Fuck. I haven't finished it.
Well, then finish it. Because that show is going to be very special. If you guys remember the Ratatouille episode, it will be similar to the Ratatouille
Oh my god,
episode.
the pizza we're gonna make. Oh, we're gonna make meth.
Candied meth, okay. But we'll be doing that, and we'll be doing a specific kind of meat.
What?
Oh, el pollo loco.
Oh.
Pollo loco.
Yeah, you know that, right?
Don't.
Is it
What do you mean don't?
Is it the
I
pizza
thought you
that
were
he
gonna put the
throws up over the roof, or
Why would I? No.
I haven't seen the show, but are you talking about?
Los pollos hermanos.
That
So
one.
if you want to see us cook and eat los pollos hermanos,
It's chicken, no?
Fried chicken.
yes, fried chicken.
Fried chicken. Very cool.
Come and see us. Most likely we will be doing it.
Like actually come over to his house.
Yes. So again, thank you guys for watching, and remember, as always.
Yeah!